here. I'm also kind of worried my situation back in Philippines. But I know God will take care and He's in control. And like what I shared last time sa Manila, He's still on His throne and He's still in control sa atin lahat. I was actually asking Pastor Salvi a while back kung ilang minuto ba ako magsasalita. How many minutes should I speak to you? And he told me, just speak. Just speak. Just go on and speak. And probably you can speak 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And so, I'm not sure if I can promise you to speak that long with that minimum time. But I will speak to you and speak to you the Word of God. I asked permission a while ago to Pastor Rolly if I'm worthy to speak in front of you. I believe I came from a different church, different background, and different setting compared to your beautiful church, no? And with beautiful people.
Amen.
with great pastors, of course, no? You have a very strong pastoral team here, with strong worship and strong faith among all of you. It's quite different back there. It's quite different from how you worship God here. I felt how you really love the Lord, and I can't wait to witness more of that life you have had here in Christ Jesus. I know it's very unusual sa ating lahat to worship in this hall, perhaps in this day. Usually you have worship in hotel or in a wider space during worship time. Believe me, it's also unusual for me to speak in Saturday, Friday. I only speak Friday back in the Philippines in evening. We have this youth service there, and usually I just speak every Friday afternoon. No?
Sunday.
But here, and yeah, of course, on Sunday, I speak as worship. But like what I said, maybe God has a plan for all these things. No? So if you have your Bible with you, please open it with me. Hindi na natin patagalin, no? Please open it with me in John chapter 11, verse 35. John 11, verse 35.
Shortest verse daw.
Yeah, I know some of you memorize this verse already. No? Maybe Raisa can... Do you memorize this verse?
Yeah, it's the shortest verse.
We can easily memorize it. No? The moment we read it, we can memorize it. Jesus wept. No? I was actually thinking, why did Jesus wept? In this present situation that we have right now, I'm thinking of if God, why this evil? I don't know if you encountered that in your mind and ask the question, if God, why is there evil? Some of the people I knew who are Christian, devoted Christian, or who grew in the church, kind of back out from their faith because of this question. They move away from their faith because of this question. And if you will ask me right now, this group called atheists, they are a group of naturalists and scientists, have these questions in mind. They have this principle that there is no God because of this evil. There is no God because of this evil, because of these things that are happening right now. Then that means there is no God. We are working on our own. We are alone here in this world. There is no divine entity around us. And if you will check some of the scientists like Charles Darwin, this is one of their bullets right now. This is one of their, whenever you point to Christianity, they will point this question to us, Christians. Do you really believe that there is God in the midst of this situation right now? And I believe that despite our resiliency as Filipinos, I was observing you a while ago and you're still laughing, even though some of you doesn't have, we're forced to live in work, we're still laughing. Some of the preachers visiting Philippines are wondering why does Filipino laugh despite all these things that are happening right now.
True.
We have this culture of bahala. I don't think so.
Share.
But yeah, despite all these things, we still smile and laugh. Despite all these things, we still smile. But I believe that yes, we smile and we laugh, but we still have questions in life. We still are confronted with these questions na bakit ba ganito ang buhay? Why is this happening to us? And why now? Why now, Lord? That I am in this, perhaps some of you are in a very good state in life. And why now, Lord? In our text, actually, two women asked God the same question. Why now, Lord? And from this text, I'll be sharing to you 2 points that I think is very, very important, especially in this situation of life. The first thing that I will tell you is God. About Jesus. Yeah? Jesus wept. Before I move there, let me read to you this passage. In verse 25, Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one believing in me, even if he dies, he will live again. Let me repeat that. I am the resurrection and the life. The one believing in me, even if he dies, he will live again. The first thing I will be sharing you is He knows our condition right now. He knows our condition right now. He knows what we are experiencing right now. And if we'll go back, He feels us. Part from this knowing is the feeling of knowing. I mean, part of knowing a thing or a person is feeling with it. That's why they call it sympathy and empathy. And from this verse alone, we can see that God, with all His power and with all His knowledge, knows what's going on around us. He has this, as they say it, all-knowing. He knows everything. And He knows our situation. I believe that some of us have personal encounter or personal problems, encounter with problems, not just the coronavirus, not just family situations, but even the personal questions in life. Naghalo-halo na, no? Pilipino talaga mahilig sa halo-halo. Maraming halo-halo. And you have these questions in life that are hard to answer. Problems are like what we call unavoidable. If we will go back, actually this book of John chapter 15 verse 20 had a very, very good reminder for us. It says there, the servant is not greater than his master. Just like as I suffer, you will also suffer, says the Lord Jesus Christ. We can see here that we cannot avoid problems. When I was given an opportunity to go to Cambodia 3 times. I don't have money actually, but I was also surprised how God provided everything. I went there for a mission. We have partners there, and we have these groups there where we help them. Actually, there were a lot of missionaries there, and what we do is we just go there to help them, to reinforce, to be a force, to be a group to help them with their existing ministry. And while staying there, I never miss going back to this two place, a historical place in Cambodia. A very, very sad place. And a very, very, it's meaningful place with a lot of lesson. The first place is called S21. back in 1975, they have this civil war in Cambodia. And due to, one of their leaders, Pol Pot, he's a brilliant person who studied back in Europe. And then after studying, he went back to Cambodia. And because of what he learned there, he tried to implement it there. Actually, it's about socialism, Marxism, and all this communist thing. And what he did is he tried to refresh everything. So he went to the countryside to convert some soldiers called the Red Army. And they tried to eliminate everybody within them that are intelligent, that are brilliant people, and those people that might endanger their campaign with communism and socialism. And so, S21 is a school that became a concentration camp during that time. I was there every now and then. I try to visit that place, and you can really feel the animosity, the problem, or the bad environment, the evil environment. You can see on the walls sprinkled with blood. The blood stains are still on the wall. The bed wherein they try to use as a torturing bed for their people is still there. Some are rusted and some have stained with blood. The floor, you can still see the floor and the remains of blood stain, and they said brain stain. Some of the brains spilled during that time. What they did is they gathered these people there. They gathered everything. They tortured them there. They hurt them there. And then after that, they bring it to this cemetery called Tolslen Museum. It's actually a cemetery of the Chinese. It's a cemetery of Chinese. And when they bring them there, they let them dig a big square, 10 by 10 by 10, or wider than that. And after asking them to dig, these people asking them to dig, this Red Army, the Khmer Rouge they call, the follower of Pol Pot, they try to eliminate them there. And they have even this, I remember walking down on the aisle of S21, I saw one of their philosophy there. They have this quote. It says there, in order to eliminate a grass, you need to uproot the root. It says there, in order to eliminate a grass or to kill a grass, you need to uproot the root. And it's very true, right? In order to kill the grass, you need to remove even the roots. Actually, that's what they did. They don't just kill that person. They even kill the wife, the children, even the relatives around it, intermediate relatives, and actually even the babies. I remember how the audio illustrated. They try to, some of the babies, they try to cast it on the air, and using their guns with bayonetta or with knife on it, they try to impale that sword on them. That's how brutal life is. And I think evil is unavoidable, especially in Christians. Why? Because we are living in a fallen world. Back there, when Adam and Eve ate that forbidden fruit and started to fall, we are living in the fallen world. And Christians should be cautious about that. We are not exempted. Not just because we are Christian and we accepted Christ, we are exempted of all this suffering and pain. It doesn't mean that way. Doesn't mean that way. See, in this verse, they are not exempted. They are not exempted. And that includes you and me. We are not exempted of this evil around us. Natural evil, man-made evil, whether this is man-made or natural evil, coronavirus, we are not exempted of it. We are not exempted because we are living in a fallen world. We are living in a fallen world. The second thing that I want to share to you is, yes, we cannot avoid evil. This is unavoidable. But in chapter 11, verse 35, we can see the reaction of God. And what did he do? He wept. And for me, this is a very, very comforting passage, especially in this situation. You know why? Because the God that we worship feels us. He has this connection. He knows how to have pain in life. He knows how to suffer. And on that cross, that's the story of the greatest suffering. No other God had that experience than Jesus. Did Buddha have that? No. Did Allah have that? No. What? Did the medicals of Hindu have that? No. All of them, you need to please them. All of these gods, you need to offer something in order to please them and for you to have a peaceful life. But the God that we are worshiping experienced suffering for us in order to understand our suffering and in order to sympathize with us. And that's what he did here. He cried, he wept. I believe God is crying with us now. And he feels us, whatever pain you have right now. Either that will be personal or that's generic, the generic pain that we are experiencing right now. He feels us. You can feel the pain, you can feel the suffering. And he feels us. Jesus wept. Jesus cried. Jesus feels us. Another favorite hymn that I'll be sharing to you is entitled, "What a Friend We Have in Jesus."
Hallelujah.
And this is the content of this hymn. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and grief to bear. What a privilege to carry. Everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Sometimes we lose peace, like this moment. And oh, what needless pain we bear. And this pain and suffering we are bearing right now. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak and not to please ourselves. We then who are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak and not to please ourselves. I think that's the greatest example that Jesus taught us on the cross. When he bare that suffering, that pain for us, when he felt the nail impaled on his palm, on his head, when he felt all the whipping and slashing and all the torturing things that the Roman did, all this for us, and all this to say, I feel you, and all this to say, I can bear what you bear, I can feel what you feel, I know what you are experiencing right now, and I understand you. In the early church, during the early church, particularly in 165 AD, is after that. Actually, during this time, they were suffering because they were Christians. A lot of persecutions are happening, especially among the government. All because they are Christians. They were being fed by the lions. They were into this gladiator fighting each other. They were into this, some of them were burned alive. Some of them were into boiling oil. If you just try to imagine how these Christians experienced Christianity during that time, I think this is nothing compared to them. But during that time, they have this plague. In 165 AD, they have this plague in Roman. And then another occurred in 251 AD. Another situation, the same like coronavirus. same like coronavirus. To tell, and according to the historians, according to the one who heard this story, they said even the Roman emperor went to hide himself. Nagtago siya dahil nga sa nangyayari nga noon. He went to hide himself and some of his officials because they don't want to be involved in this situation. But you know who stood there? You know who stood despite these situations in life? The Christian who are being persecuted. This Christian stood there, helped the patient, helped the sick. They stood there and helped them. And you know what happened during that time? Because of this helping spirit that the Christian had, because of what the Christian did during that time, they became the survivor. They survived that plague. They were recognized, and some of them became Christian. The strength of Christianity grew during that time because of the service that the Christian had, because of what these Christians did, because they know and they felt how to suffer. They felt the suffering, and so they shared. They know the suffering. They share the suffering. They shared the answer to that suffering. So why God? In this suffering? Why God? Why is this happening to us? God has answer in everything. And God will, I want to end with the quote that I read. One of the cafeteria in Manila. One of our friends invited me to have coffee. Actually, we were invited. We were in a group and we were invited to have coffee in Manila. And while entering this coffee shop, they said, "Hey, this is a Christian coffee shop. You should visit it." So we visited it. And so during that time, I was actually walking. While waiting for the order, I was walking around. And on the wall, I saw one of the most beautiful quote that I ever had. Nobody was acknowledged for that quote. It's anonymous. It was written anonymous. I wish I knew the author. But it says something like this: everything will be okay in the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not yet okay, that means it's not yet the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, that means it's not yet the end. And that is very true as well with Christianity. Suffering is not our end. This pain is not our end. We have this greater purpose promised to us. We have this devotion last night. Of this devotion last night in Romans chapter 8. That this suffering is nothing compared to the glory that will be revealed to us in the future. We have this glorious and magnificent place, situation waiting for us compared to the suffering we are having right now. Everything will be okay in the end. It's not yet okay. And that means it's not yet there. May God bless us. And may God continue to talk to us. God bless us all.
Amen.
Ikaw na.
Pastor.
Sundan mo na, Pastor.
Wala pang alas 12. Mamaya, magkakainan tayo. Okay, so